G'day guys, and today Shorty and I are going to review the Cats game, which was Geelong and Adelaide at Richmond Oval, Sunday afternoon, nice and sunny up there for them, it looked like, matey. And the Crows got home by 6 points in the end. Just got home by a goal, and they didn't score in the last quarter. But mini fight back from the Cats, which was good, and we almost sort of expected it to happen based off how the JLT series is going. And I don't know, we've got supreme confidence or dumb hope, I don't know what it is, but yeah, look, it wasn't a game for the ages, and most of these games aren't. But how did you see it? You saw 3 quarters today and listened to the whole game. What did you get out of it?
Yeah, no, it's always good to rewatch it, I suppose, get a feel for it visually. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously a bit to work on for sure across the whole ground. It's yeah, I mean, they're hard games to get a read on because clubs are trying certain things, and Adelaide had a bit of a weaker side in. So, you know, on paper we probably should have won, but I'm not a real big fan of taking too much from the result.
Yep.
I was interested in a few players in particular in certain parts of the ground, and some guys, you know, which we'll touch on, really impressed me, and other areas of the ground certainly have a bit to work on. So it's interesting where we're at. I think there's certainly signs that it could be impressive, but there's also a few players and parts of the ground that certainly lacking a player or two, or need the improvement of 1 or 2 guys, or
next step. Yep.
Yeah, which we've harped on for some time. But did you take away some key points from it, mate?
Yeah, I saw about 70% of it, and it was a funny old game to watch, mate. Like, just we were going well, Adelaide were going well, and we fell asleep and then came back to life in the last quarter. So, I mean, it's an interesting one with the win, mate. You often say it doesn't mean anything, and it puzzles me every time when it happens. A team kicking with the win, they play so damn well in that quarter, and it's almost coincidental. Like you often say, mate, it doesn't make you run any harder or faster or anything like that. It doesn't make you play any better. But crazy how it did occur almost in that fashion in this game. But yeah, look, overall, ball movement was pretty reasonable, but it was a game it was patchy. So I guess that's a natural thing for not NAB Challenge, but JLT pre-season. I think that sort of naturally happens, but we'd like to probably iron out those kinks of inconsistency between quarters. Having a bit with Hawthorn last week, the other week when we played them, they got on top, and we had to eventually respond. And again, not sure whether that's due to game style or the nature of the beast of pre-season, but we'll find that out later on. But like to iron out those kinks of just being consistent in quarters, and I think a lot of teams will be thinking the same thing. But yeah, overall, we're okay. It wasn't a game for the ages. Linked up pretty well most of the time. Adelaide got a hold of us in the third quarter. I only got to see the last. I didn't get to see too much of the domination when they got in front and came back. But yeah, some good signs from some players, which I'll be intrigued to mention about in the votes. But yeah, overall, key forward struggled as well. It's another little thing to mention in, little disclaimer. So Taylor, Black, Hawkins didn't. I think they got 2 behinds between them. So tough day for big forwards. Jack's got a couple, but I think it was in the middle where the Crows won it in the third, or when they were dominating play, and we just sort of just went off the pedal a little bit, I think. But
yeah, well, you mentioned iron out the kinks and stuff, which is what this time of year is about. So we're at an interesting stage. I think if you
he's writing stories, I like it.
Yeah, you always want to look for the improvements, and while the result doesn't count for too much, little areas of the ground and certain players and where they're going will eventually count towards something. And I just feel our back line, you know, could be a little bit slow. We'll touch on Tui, has been really great for it, but we've touched on Taylor and where he fits in. You know, it's not quite gelling in the forward line, and
not yet, no.
You know, not quite yet have I really seen the likes of a Blitzarps or a Duncan or anyone really stand up and look like they're going to dominate through the midfield. Probably Cockatoo and Hall Smith, the 2 guys that have maybe impressed me the most. So there's a few question marks still around, and how will the third man up rule affect us? Who is our number 1 ruck? We're going to be a tough team to get a read on, I think. I honestly feel we could finish anywhere, top 2 or 12th. I really do think the range. Because if we can click a couple of things together, mind you, we've been asking for that for a while.
Yeah.
But if we can, all of a sudden we're a very dangerous team, which the commentators love to say how dangerous we are and this and that.
Yeah,
but in reality, if we don't get it together, we're a pretty second-rate side. So it's only early days, but at this stage there's a few queries and also a few light at the end of the tunnel players that if they do fire, then could be very good for us.
They only need a couple of players to increase by 5 or 10%, or the team, or the whole team goes up 3 or 4%. That's massive. So
yeah,
just need little bits of improvements. But yeah, you often do look for a player in a side where they dominate pre-season. So for like the Pies last year with De Goey, I think was you sort of looked and think, wow, he's going to be a player this year, or this is going to be his breakout season. Yet there've been a couple of Cats players that have caught your eye that have done all right, but they haven't set the world on fire in those games that you're talking about. So it's a real sort of 50-50. You want to get excited, but you almost have to have a bit of reality check at the same time. So it's an odd one. But we'll delve into the votes, mate, which we'll just quickly touch on because these don't really matter. But it's just who was good on the day in the top 3. So
well, I think Zach Tui probably the main man for us.
Good pickup.
Couldn't have started much better in his Cats career, could he?
Yep. No, he's fantastic. Doing well.
A bit of cheap ball, but he's providing great rebound and a very nice use of the ball. 89%, no clangers. Henderson was pretty poised. I think he had 14 in the first quarter.
14 touches.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You were surprised, mate.
Unbelievable.
And he was quite poised off the back line. Again, a few chip around, easy touches, but
once around the corner.
Good intercepts and looked pretty good. And George Holland-Smith, I really liked his game. I know me and you and the old man have talked about him at length at times.
Yep.
And I really do hope that this is the year that he comes on. I think like a player like him really needs your solid 5 pre-seasons in him. He's not quick. He's not blessed with too many tricks. But what he is, I think, is going to be an inside beast. I do think if you can get up to a really good amount of lifting and get some weight on him, which he has, came to the club in the mid-70s kilos, and I think he's up to about 84, 85. So
it's all right, it's getting there.
Statistically, it was a good game from him. Wins it on the inside. It's never going to be too pretty, but he could be a guy that could help out Dangerfield and Selwood. So fingers crossed.
What we're after.
And Cockatoo was good as well. So what do you reckon?
Nice, mate. Pretty similar. So Tui got the 3 votes. He got the 27 touches, 7 marks, and I liked his intercept mark work. I'm not going to get too excited, but the commentators are saying, and I sort of cotton on to it as well, like he's almost, no, he's not going to be better than Enright, but his intercept marks were good, and not to mention he does that and provides run. Enright, obviously later in his career, and there's never been a quick guy. He really does provide that darting run and really does break the lines, and I'll just love it when he just dashes and goes for that kick in the middle. Like it's exactly what we've been crying out for such a long time, and just love his. He's such a good kick too.
Yeah,
he just hits the targets like no worries. So the goal he kicked as well. It's just a dart. It was beautiful. Like, not many players can do that, and ironically, the Irishman is showing the Aussies how to do it. So loved his game and love him as a player at the moment. He's doing very nicely. Henderson. He's had 14 touches. I saw his ranking points in the second term, and I think he was close to top. Like, what the heck's he done? He took 12 grabs, and he kept marking. I thought, all right, he's taking a few grabs today. So, 23 touches, and just really composed. And they were saying it would have been lost without him. So, very big contribution from Henderson, and I reckon he'll be doing that all season. Not exactly that output, but pretty similar effect. Loved the way he went about it, so it was good to watch. And I'll get the 1 vote to Zach Guthrie. Michael Ford, I've just had a bit of a look at this kid, and he did really well. I like the way he presented, especially early in the game. Got 18 touches and 7 marks, and he just seemed to be sort of everywhere, at least in the second term or whenever I was watching at that point in time, seeing him play well. I liked the way he went about it, and did some nice things. So he used the ball reasonably well. So giving him a vote for you there, mate. Liked Holland-Smith as well, like yourself, mate, and Cockatoo again. Didn't get heaps of it, but he seemed to do nice things with it. So I think he's a meet his game kind of player and breaks the lines. Menegol did it right as well. So
and Cockatoo I'm really excited about. We spoke about him the other day, but he just looks bigger too.
Yep.
Can break tackles and break the lines with his speed. So I'm pretty excited about him this year.
Good stuff. Like he struggled with that early, so good to see he's bulked up slightly. He is not suspended. I'm not. I think he might have been optimistic and thought there's no chance he'll get suspended. I was a little bit concerned, but Cockatoo out for 0 weeks, not reported, so that's okay. So he'll be in next week. And I guess we'll move into next week, mate. Is that next? Yeah, that's the next bit. We've got the Bombers, so there's no chopping block yet, guys. Not too cutthroat yet. So I got the Bombers. I'm not sure where at, matey. But
Not sure either.
That's all right. We'll play the Bombers.
Suburban ground somewhere.
Probably. Yeah, some random ground, maybe Smilesdale or something like that.
My home deck.
Yeah, why not? So we'll have a look again. We'll just be looking to iron out the kinks, as I've sort of been saying. Just winning the ball on the inside, and just we'll be wanting a big game from Hawkins, Taylor, or Black, or all three if we can. So we'll just be looking to get some solid minutes into those guys, and someone to step up in the midfield. I dare say a couple of players, just sort of maybe a Horn Smith or a Meningol, get 30 touches and make a good impact. And the back line just doing what they do. And referring to changes, mate, you made a suggestion to me, the forward line.
Oh, yes.
You can delve into that if you like it with your thoughts on the next week.
Yes, well, Andrew Mackie was the one I put forward. They were discussing him on the radio and where he fits into the best 22. And he, for the record, he is my favourite player. So this takes guts. But I don't think he is in our best 22 anymore. I think he's a bit too slow, and he isn't a great minder of his man anymore. And he used to be able to get away with it, and he can't now. And I know we're throwing Taylor forward, and I just feel like it would be worthwhile throwing him forward at times. As we know, he was a dynamic forward as a young fella. Changed his game to be a half-back flanker, but I couldn't see any harm in putting him forward. He's shown in the past that some players just know where the goals are, and I think he's one. He's a penetrating kick, and I do feel he's probably been pushed aside by Stewart, Kolajasny, of course, Tui as well. So I'm not sure there's a spot there for him.
Lots of tall defenders.
Yeah, so I just feel he's a reasonable height. Yes, he's a little bit slower, and also just reaction times drop off a little bit as you get a bit older, but I feel like it could be worth throwing him around. But,
I like it.
Yeah, and as for next week, looking forward to seeing how we go. Normally this last hit out is generally the closest thing to the real stuff that we'll see. The Bombers have already said that they'll put in their strongest lineup, so I dare say we'll put in something similar. So
nice.
While I've kind of thrown aside the results of these first two games, I'll be a little more interested to see how we go next week, because it is sort of your genuine dress rehearsal to round one. So. Yeah,
absolutely. Do you have any thoughts on, I forgot to mention it, Dangerfield and Selwood having Danger off the second half? Did you like that?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, it gave, like we said, Horn Smith and Cockatoo got a fair few centre bounce attendances, and Danger played a fair bit forward as well. So,
I like that.
So trying that out, and they certainly did take a backward seat and just let a few other guys do it.
They have to at this point in time, get some kind of system and knowledge of what's to come up.
And some blokes look good, others didn't. Murdoch got thrown in there, didn't look fantastic. Motlop was just okay. There were a couple of guys who got thrown around and didn't really look like they were going to be much of a threat in the centre bounce, where others did, and that's what it's about. So Blitzab also lined up at a key post in the back line at one point. I know you've mentioned that in the past. So we've got versatility, but I just like to find a genuine spot that is good for players. I mean, it's all
we're too flexible.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of guys who can play two positions at 5 out of 10. I'd like to see him play 1 at 8.
Come on, mate. That's all we ask for.
That's what I think we really need to do. So if we can get the mix right, then we're onto something. But until then, we're just an almost team.
Yeah, can't have a whole bunch of 5 out of 10s for playing 5 different positions. So.
No point in that.
Very much like that analogy. So, that's the review from Shorty and myself on the Cats and the Crows game, with the Crows getting home by 6 points, and they didn't score in the last quarter, so it was crazy that they didn't score and we nearly got the chocolates. But, nice little comeback and just a nice little practice game. So, that's about the best way I can sort of put it. So, feel free to like the video, subscribe for more Cats content, random predictions and general AFL topics and tips with myself. Shorty Supercoach over here. Get on board with this bloke if you want to get a bit more knowledge on Supercoach and know what to do with your team. He's got his mug on camera now with Camtasia. Orazio Camtasia. So, get on board his channel if you're keen to get amongst the Supercoach and find out what to do there. So
thanks for the plug, mate.
That's all right. You plugged me a fair bit with Tizzy 100, so I appreciate that. Thanks for hanging around, guys. We'll catch you on the next video.